Welcome, everyone. My name is Sara James, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Summit for Genetic Epilepsy Team Australia, better known as GETA, because we believe that you want to get a team, get a target, and get a cure for your children. We are thrilled that you're here to join us, whether it's daytime where you are, whether you're where I am, which is the Macedon Ranges of Victoria in lockdown, about 45 minutes northwest of Melbourne, or whether you might be in Sydney or Brisbane or Perth, or whether you're joining us from the United States or Europe or the UK or Mexico or Brazil or the Mideast or wherever you are around the world. We are absolutely thrilled that you've made time to join us today. Now, there's so much that we have to talk about, exciting research from world-leading scientists, and you're going to have the opportunity to hear from other parents just like you. But before we get started, I want to begin by recognizing and acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we are gathered. Where I am here in the Macedon Ranges of Victoria, Australia, that's the Jajawarong, the Tongurong, and the Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nations. And I would like to pay my respects to the traditional elders, past, and the leaders, past, present, and emerging. And no matter where you are, whether you're in Australia or around the world, it's a good time to pause and reflect on Indigenous peoples and those who were here before us and were custodians of the lands on which we are gathered. And they are many, because we are many, because while we are rare, and while perhaps there might be only one or two or 100 or 2,000 of the people in your specific genetic epilepsy, together we form a mighty chorus. And it is that chorus together that we want to celebrate today. And that's why we want to bring everyone together. You know, when I talk about together, I'm missing my buddies, because normally the way this works at GETA is that I would be here, actually we'd be in Melbourne in the center of the city, and I would be with Danielle and Danny Williams and Chris Pierce and David Cunnington and my husband Andrew Butcher, because we are the three families who started GETA 5 years ago. So happy birthday, everybody. We made it to 5, and that's extremely exciting because so much research, so many clinical trials, so much has occurred in those past 5 years. And that's a lot to celebrate. But I want to thank the other co-founders of GETA for all they have done and continue to do, and say, I wish you were here with me. Now, I also wish that here with me were those of you across Australia and right here in Victoria who wanted to come and be part of our in-person summit. As you know, if Romeo and Juliet are star-crossed, well, Melbourne and Victoria are COVID-crossed. We keep having lockdowns, and this time it meant we couldn't do it. We know that's hard. We know you made plane reservations and hotel reservations and got Harry Potter tickets. So we hope that you can put all of that on hold and come back, because here's what you need to know. We might have a little trouble with lockdowns here in our state, but what Victoria does offer is a world-leading center of epilepsy research. And you're going to hear from some of those scientists and researchers today. I keep talking about the people that you're going to hear from. We also want to hear from you. That's incredibly important to us. So there's a chat box. If you have a question, please let us know. Send that question to us. If you have a comment, if there's something you really like, or something that I really stuff up, well, just let me know, let us know. We'll try to get it right. You're going to hear about a lot of letters and numbers. Maybe they will be the ones of your individual genetic epilepsy, whether it's SYNGAP, SCN2A, DRAVE, KCNQ2, CDKL5, NGLY1, no matter what that particular microdeletion or genetic mutation might be, you might hear that. But you're going to also hear some other numbers and letters. You're going to hear about things like ASOs and CNVs and all kinds of other combinations. So as we go through this today, sing out, again, if you have a question and you want to ask the experts, this is your opportunity to do so. A couple more thoughts before we get started. Back when we began GETA, our idea was that it's incredibly important for families to have individual foundations. We get that. I'm on the board of Casey and Q2 Cure. The other Geta founders are part of their individual foundations. And we understand that. But if you think of genetic epilepsy as a family, and that's how I regard it, the people in your individual group might be your brothers and sisters. There's a lot you share. But the rest of us in that genetic epilepsy community are like your cousins. And we share quite a lot in common, beginning with the words genetic and epilepsy, but going well beyond that. Autism keeps cropping up in a number of instances. So there's a great deal that we share. A couple of other things. Why does it matter that we get together? Well, because we can learn from each other. There are so many things I've learned from what other foundations, other organizations, other disorders are doing. And the research that you're hearing about, today it might not be for your specific child, but that doesn't mean it won't be in the future. So pay attention, as I know you will, because you're going to hear about some things that might be coming your way soon. We can learn from each other. And the other thing is, numbers matter. I'm a journalist and a writer. I've spent my years in media. I can tell you big cohorts matter in terms of getting attention, and not just from those of us in media, also from pharmaceutical companies and from scientists and researchers. It really matters in that way too. So for all of those reasons, it's important to be together as we also celebrate that individually you're going to want to reach out to the specific people with whom you have so much in common. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for joining us, because you know what? It isn't easy. This morning, our daughter woke up at 4:45 and my husband has taken her away. We're in lockdown. He's gone to get some hay for the horses since we cannot travel more than 5 kilometers from our house. But if she were here, as much as she is absolutely adorable, I wouldn't be able to concentrate on what my main job is today, which is being able to be the MC for this event. So I'm really disappointed that I can't introduce you to our cherub, but that's life, isn't it? I'm showing you the books behind me because they're neat and tidy. The rest of the room is not. The dishes are still in the sink. There's laundry over there. You don't get to see it. It's need to know. I've just shared it with you. And the reason that I've shared it with you is because life in genetic epilepsy land is like that for so many of us. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of extra challenges. It is an odyssey. It genuinely is an odyssey. And I salute you for making time in your day when there's so much else you could be doing to be here with us. So using that chat box, here's a little bit that I'd like to know from you, that we'd all like to know from you. Please tell us where you are. Are you here in Australia? And if so, where and in which time zone? And is it sunny? And can you go from where? I'm sorry, no, I digress. Tell us where you are, whether it's in Australia or anywhere around the world. And then I would also like to know what specific condition you're interested in. That's really important. We get such a broad cross-section and it's relevant to know. So we'd love to hear from you. So those are just a couple of ways in which we are going to use the chat box. I want you, if you can, to stay tuned, because the small descriptions that we were able to put on the flyer just really scratch the surface of what you're going to be able to hear today. Because another thing that we know at Geta is how smart and informed and caring all of you are. And that's why we have the speakers that we are bringing you today. There is a wealth of knowledge, and I know you're going to find every bit of it important, whether or not it's for you today or in the long term.